Ross Hawkins there. Well, we're going to get some reaction now. We're joined by Lucy Thomas. She's the campaign director for Business for New Europe. It's a group which advocates Europe. You're pro-European business. You would like us to stay in the European Union. Let's just talk about what the Prime Minister is trying to do this week. He's not just laying out the plans for a referendum. He's laying out what he would like in terms of renegotiating Britain's position in Europe. We don't have much of a clue of what that's going to involve. It's all second-guessing. But what we do know is his aim is to try and please those who want to stay in the EU and those who want to pull out. Is that possible? Can he do that? Can he pull it off?
Yes, and I'd also add sort of the third group, which is other EU leaders who have to agree to any changes. And actually, there's been a lot of work behind the scenes touring European capitals before this week by the Foreign Secretary and others, just to see actually where are there areas that we can all agree. So things around changing rules for migrant benefits, which I think actually a lot of it can be done within UK rules already without necessarily that much EU change. And also there's a lot of agreement on streamlining the EU institutions, cutting down on red tape. These are things actually that other countries do want. But there's a bit of a blow for those in this country who want treaty change, because tonight it's been reported by Le Monde that there's a French and German pact on the Eurozone. So that was the one opportunity where David Cameron saw there could be room for treaty change, but actually they've gone ahead and agreed something, which means there is certainly not going to be treaty change before 2017.
From a business point of view, would you like to see that renegotiation and the referendum happen a lot quicker than it's planned to be so far? Is there a lot of uncertainty among businesses that you know of?
Yes, absolutely, and investment decisions are being postponed as they were in the run-up to the Scottish referendum. So I think there was about 17 billion of investment that was frozen across the whole of the UK in the run-up to the Scottish referendum.
And do you think that's uninformed concern? It's people not getting enough information about the potential impact of staying in the EU or coming out of the EU or the renegotiations?
I actually think those businesses who are postponing their decisions are taking in an informed decision that their factory, their investment, may no longer be viable were we to leave the EU. So they are genuinely concerned about how successful their business will continue to be were Britain to leave.
Are you worried about the referendum? Because the staying in argument is often described as the toughest one to get across. The pulling out argument is mainly based on migration, numbers, the cost of staying in the European Union. It's our transport budget every year, or the equivalent of. Where your argument, it's very difficult to get people to engage, isn't it, in what it means?
Yes, and I think we have to make the case in a very different way. So, of course, there's a business argument, but actually it has to be so much broader than that, because we haven't really talked about what it means for Britain to remain in the EU.
I mean, jobs is a big one.
Yeah.
If there's an impact on jobs, that appeals to the masses.
Absolutely, and we have to also figure out that balance between the hope and the positives and the fear. So with the Scottish referendum, you know, there was a lot of criticism that it was really centring on the fear and the uncertainty. And of course there will have to be some of that, because there is no vision of what out looks like. There is no blueprint ready to go of a UK outside the EU. And so that fear, actually I would put it to those who want to leave to come up with a viable alternative.
What about the way the vote's going to go with this referendum? 16 to 17-year-olds can't vote, unlike the Scottish referendum. Only some migrant groups can vote. How do you feel about that?
Well, again, if I keep talking about Scotland, but you know, it was another sort of similar, really huge question. And I think actually it's about the future of this country. It's about the future of those young people. And surely they should also get to have their say. You know, they can join the army, they can get married, they can do lots of things. But actually, I would push for them to have a say.
OK, Lucy, thanks very much for your time.